Good evening to you, Linda. Lovely to have you here on Wave 105. I'm feeling like a loose woman today.
Well, I can't oblige. I'm sorry.
Very good. Very good. Now then, we're here to talk to you about women of a certain age turning into invisible people.
Yes.
Surely not, Linda.
Well, I don't think they're so much. I think they have turned. I think they were on. They've turned. We want them out again. Frankly, we want them uninvisibilized. And I think probably because of my Loose Women thing, if you like, which is one of the few programs where they have me as an old person on the panel, and now I'm representing isme.com. I'm wanting to, to get the message out there to women of my age group that you don't have to be invisible, and that with a bit of help from some decent clothes and changing people's attitudes to women, certainly in terms of fashion and the high street, we got to get out there and give it some welly, basically. I know this from my own experience. You go into the high street, there is nothing for women of a certain age. So we do think we're invisible, but we need to demand, because we're out there, we're part of the workforce. The way the world's going, we'll all be working until we're in our 80s. Why can we not be well dressed, which in turn makes us a more interesting addition to the job market?
Or maybe in your case, slightly more undressed. I'm thinking calendar girls.
I know. Well, but yeah, it's true. But, by taking my clothes off and being on the Calendar Girls tour, I have met probably 8 to 10. We play that to 8 to 10,000 women a week, who are. This is the grey pound we're talking about here. And again, advertising never ignored completely. People over 40, never mind 50. But you need your granny. You do a car commercial now. If you don't sell it to me, I'm the one with the money.
Absolutely. What was it like? The first time you had to lose some clothes.
Take my clothes off.
Yes.
Well, everybody asked that question, Andy. But the thing is, it's in context. If you think what those women did, those real Yorkshire women in 1990, it was a phenomenal thing, and they actually show more on their calendar than we ever do on stage. It's more about hiding it. But as women in a group, the day you all take your clothes off is incredibly liberating. And again, a lot of women that come to the show come to the stage door and say, I honestly thought at 65 or whatever that I would just better sit down and die. It's a terrible indictment of our attitude in society.
That's terrible.
And thank God for plays like Loose Women, for plays like Calendar Girls and Loose Women, and now, in a sense, I'm not trying to hold myself up as some perfect, role model, but at the same time, in a sense, I am covering all these bases. I need decent clothes to wear. I'm using the catalogue. I can't stress enough. I think it makes you feel better and good about yourself if you look good, even if you've got no clothes on. But it's empowering, and that's what I want to say. Your life is not over because you've had your children, because you've reached menopause, because somehow you're no longer out in the market as breeding material. I guess that biologically, that's where it all springs. And where you have to stop being the one that's going to be the breeder, you can be the advisor, and you can be the fun. There's nothing to say just because, of course, a young man's not going to whistle at you and want to go out with you, nor would you particularly want to go out with him. But you'd like to think that you were an interesting, fun person to be with a few jokes up your sleeve.
Absolutely, because we know you for years and years and years as the Oxo mum as well.
Yeah.
How long were you the Oxo mum for,
16
Linda?
years.
That's amazing, isn't it?
I know, I've had a whole life. Well, and of course I've come out the other side. It's quite funny because I went back to them to suggest that they bring me out as a granny. They missed out there. Unfortunately, Isme's won over. They've won me.
How's your book doing as well, your autobiography?
Yes. Well,
Tell us
the
about
paperback
that.
comes out on March the 17th. Isn't it terrible? I'm quite busy, really, for a change. And again, it's all tied up with I wanted people to know the bad stuff that had happened to me. Unfortunately, I had a happy ending, and I'm a real optimist, and I believe that if you keep going, there's always light at the end of the tunnel, and that's why I wrote it, so that it would encourage women similarly going through either an abusive relationship or perhaps drinking too much or just feeling bad about themselves. Just hang on in there and get out there and stop. I do feel very strongly that sometimes we get caught up in our own little worlds, and if you go out and face the world, you'll see it in a different light.
Absolutely. It's been fascinating talking to you this evening. I do feel like I've almost qualified as an honorary loose woman
You
today.
do.
Linda Bellingham, lovely to talk to you tonight. Thanks for coming on to Wave 105.